What's up, everybody? I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. This is Zarek with Sobriety 365, whatever you want to call it. I literally decided to start this channel after a bender I had a couple days ago. My eyes are watering now from drinking. I just got out of the gym. I was in the sauna, but I said, you know what? I've failed multiple times at getting sober for good. It's been something I've been trying to do since I was probably 24, between 24 and now I'm 29. That's when I've had my worst episodes of drinking and some party drug use on the side. But the main culprit has always been alcohol, which I believe is the most damaging and detrimental. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna put myself out there publicly. I'm gonna challenge myself. And so I guess I just want to spread awareness, tell my story on here, and really hold myself accountable. And I hope you guys that watch this hold me accountable. And and I hope I can inspire other people like me who maybe are problem drinkers to do the challenge. And I think there's something to be said about putting yourself out there and for the world to see, and making a commitment to yourself, but also people in the world. A little bit about my story. I'm just somebody, I never was somebody who drank every day. My story's always been just a binge drinker. I may not drink for a month. It used to be where I wouldn't even worry about it, But I could date back to even when I was 18, even though I drank maybe twice from 18 to 22, maybe twice a year. It was always these benders where I'd get blacked out. But I didn't think anything of it back then. I didn't start realizing these benders started turning into, instead of 2 or 3 a year, to 10 to 20 times a year as I got into my mid-20s. And it started being really detrimental. I got my first DUI, which I don't have. That was the only one. Luckily, I stopped driving drunk. And I drove drunk many times, and very, very regretful. Especially I've lost many friends to drunk driving in high school. And I just can't believe I never let myself do that. But consciously, I don't think consciously we would ever do that. I think obviously when we drink, we lose our inhibitions and we think we can do stuff. And that's definitely something I regret, but there's no use of looking back at the past and feeling bad about it. You have to learn from it and move forward. Granted, I never drank and drive again. Even when I've got plastered, I learned that lesson. I paid over $6 or $7 grand, and I learned a lot about, even more of the dangers. What is it? Every 51 minutes, someone dies from a drunk driver. You know what I mean? It's insane, the insanity of drinking in our culture. And I've been trying to quit. So I do have respect for myself for having the tenacity to continue to keep trying. A little bit about my story. Alcoholism has been rampant in my family. I lost my aunt, which was my grandma's sister, really, from Germany. She helped raise us, and she died pretty young. She was only in her late 50s, maybe 60, was healthy most of her life. Beautiful woman, had a career, and I single-handedly watched as a kid how alcohol destroyed her. She was a loving, caring person. She was someone who had a lot of demons when she was young, things that happened to her that I'm not going to say, and I think that she drank to numb the pain. And that was one of the first people I seen die from alcohol in my family. Then again, I lost my father. Technically, even though he's not dead yet, I feel like I've lost him. He became addicted to alcohol. At an early age. He had me when he was only 24 years old, and some of my first memories was him drinking and getting in fights and fighting my mom and cursing us out and punching holes in the wall. So I watched for the first 10 years of my life when my dad was around, in and out of jail. I watched him in and out of drunken states. And it was clear to me, even at that age, he was just trying to mask his own pain. He didn't have the easiest life. He had a lot of trauma himself. So I've been able to forgive my dad for his stuff. But I realized I inherited similar dysfunction in the way I deal with my problems. And I didn't realize how subconscious that was, even though I grew up in a household where my mom never drank or did drugs. But my dad did. And my older brother never drank or did drugs. So most of my life, I was always anti-drugs drinking. Really, most of my life up until my early to mid-20s is when I started thinking it was okay to drink. And obviously I was completely wrong. So a lot of my friends would make fun of me because I'd be that dude who'd drink a couple times a year and I'd get down on myself. But they didn't understand, because I seen what alcohol can do. I saw what what it could do to people, and it could potentially do to me, and what it's already taken from me, even though I'm still doing okay and financially and business wise and stuff. But I think I could be a lot further in certain things that I'm doing if I didn't have this issue with drinking. And with that said, I'm 29. From like 27 to 28, I was sober for like 7-8 months. I had a really bad bender one night, and during this period was the worst. It was like 26, and I was drinking 4 times a week, and just my weight was out of control. I gained like 30 pounds from alcohol, and I still was working out a lot, but it just like was detrimental because alcohol just destroys all your hormones and your inhibition, your willpower, and yeah. So that I remember I read a book by Greg Beck. Thanks a lot, Greg Beck. Greg Beck has helped me a lot, and those programs do work, and they still do work. But I was able to get sober for 7 months off his program, and literally it really worked. I literally had no desire to drink. I had no cravings. But as the alcohol always does, it makes you think that, hey, I can just have one drink. And I remember walking to that pub. I had lost some crazy amount of weight. I lost like 60 pounds. The drinking 30%, and then I lost another 30 pounds. Like, I just got in the best shape of my life. And I remember walking to the pub, and everyone's like, dude, Zarek, what are you doing here? Because a lot of the people that worked there, they knew the type of drinking I did, and they didn't even want, they were like, what are you doing here, man? You're doing so good. And I just had that one drink. I remember it was an Irish Death, and that's a very high potency beer, and it was all over, and the monster got me back. 7 months gone, and I started drinking for maybe 3-4 months, and then I had another breakthrough where I said I was done. Made it another 90 days, and ever since then, so between 28 and 29, I've just had back and forth bouts. Last summer I was sober all summer. This year I've had bouts of 90 days, 60 days, 30 days of sobriety. So overall, I've had a lot of sobriety, but it hasn't been as consistent as I want. And I'm just not ready to give up on it. And I used to set goals of just, I want to do 30 days, 15 days, but I never set out to, let's do a year. Obviously, I'm breaking that down to small goals. For me, day to day is not a problem. It's when the weekend comes, Saturday night, Friday night, and that's when it becomes a problem. And I'll explain in another video how friends make that work. But my best bouts of sobriety, I had to cut off all my party friends. And I'm telling you, you have to cut off all your party friends, because your party friends, though they may care about you, they have problems themselves. And 90% of my friends who party, they don't think the way I do. They don't think it's an issue. They're not willing to confront it. They don't want to hear about it. You could tell them, yo, I want to get sober. It's ruining my life. And they'll be like, pussy. They'll say shit like that. So have no qualms about cutting those people off. And I'm telling you, you have to do it. And so here I am. My last streak was I had 30 days, and I relapsed on Sunday. Not because the fault of any of the books I read. It was literally because, in my subconscious, I still believed there was something there to drink. There was something fun, why not? Let's just get trashed, because I lost the principles that helped me out so much. And I had some big things happen. A lot of people don't know, but I work in the music industry, and I had some really good success. And I not only as an artist, but as a promoter. And I'm not going to say the person's name, but I made a huge connection. And I went to their show about a week ago, and the show, they were promoted a lot of drinking. It was one of those type of artists that loves to party. We were all wasted. Long story short, everything was going good initially. Then I ended up on the tour bus with them, and at that point I was blacked out, because I'm from Seattle area. I was up in the Capitol Hill district with a lot of college students, and I met a bunch of girls, me and my buddy, and we were all just getting wasted. And this girl gave me like a triple shot of like vodka, and I blacked out. And I somehow ended back up on my buddy's, the musician who was a pretty famous musician's bus, and I got hammered. And next thing you know, people are looking for drugs and all kinds of crazy stuff. And one of his security said something to me I didn't like, and I flipped out, and I controlled myself enough to get off the bus, but then I got off the bus and I freaking like pounded on it, and then I left and I called him and I just freaking ripped him a new one, which was not his fault. He was cool as hell, and his friends were not mean at all. Like, I don't blame them for being, they don't know me, so they were treating me like an outsider, you know, and I don't blame them for that. So I had to call the next day and be like, yo, I apologize, this and that, but I ruined a relationship, a huge relationship, and that's all. You know, I take full responsibility for that, for not controlling my drinking, and I should have went to that event sober. And part of that was for me thinking again that it's okay to drink, you know, just to have a couple drinks, you know, and especially, you know, me now, I'm like, you know, I work out, I'm in my fitness stuff. I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to have any beer. I'm just going to do some alcohol. And that was the worst thing I could do, because I just started drinking even crazier. And yeah, so that's just one of the things, guys. This is just my introductory video. I want to give you guys my story, you know, my background. And, you know, I'm somebody who, you know, is what you would call a high achieving party person. One of my best friends is extremely high achieving, mechanical engineer and entrepreneur, makes over 6 figures a year. And I've literally, and he had, we're two different type of drinkers, but we have the same problem. I'm the binge drinker, where I can get sober, you know, or I won't drink for a long period of time. He's the guy who's getting trashed every night, and he does it slowly, you know. He just starts drinking a beer in the morning, beers at work, and he's just drinking beer throughout the day. Not a lot of hard alcohol, but he's, you know what I mean? And I've witnessed him, you know, lose $100,000 in his savings account because of drinking and gambling addiction, lose his fiance. I'm not going to say the friend's name, obviously, and he'll probably, if you talk to him, he'd openly tell you these things, you know, because he's battling it. And you know, you can only help so much, but at the end of the day, the best thing I can do is help myself. I got love for my friends, but I got to do what I got to do. And I know I can do this. And the beautiful thing is I have experienced those long bouts of sobriety. And anybody watching this who's considering getting sober, I'm telling you, it's so worth it. Like, I remember, like, it was like a year and a half ago, I had 7 months. I literally thought I was never going to drink it again. And I used to wake up and have nightmares that I drank. And it's, you know, I slipped up. But guess what, guys? The people who can get up and keep trying, you guys are the toughest people in the world. And I consider myself part of that. And sometimes you have to be easier on yourself, in a sense of, I did have to overcome a lot of stuff in my life. And I still am going to. But I'm on the right path. And I think making this video and just being open with you guys, and you guys could help hold me accountable. You know, I'm not trying to make any money off this or anything. This is literally just a passion project, and I hope my story can maybe help anyone out, and I hope we can help each other out. You know, I've learned a lot from people like CG Kid and Craig Beck and Andy Grace.